Hello, my guys. Welcome to another episode of the Microwave Kicks. Yes, I'm on glasses again. It's happy days at Chelsea, so I'm feeling cool. I'm feeling happy, and I'm feeling excited at this point. Now, what is Chelsea, interested in a 33-year-old for? We're going to talk about that. We're going to break that, in this episode. Also, Chelsea are also interested in a certain midfielder who plays for France. He played against Norway, I think yesterday, and he did very, very well for France. He's also doing well in the Italian Serie A. We're going to talk about that as well. And lastly, we're also going to talk about a certain left back. Cucurella must be replaced. Cucurella needs to be replaced. Now, who would replace Cucurella? We're also going to break that down as well. So if you're new to this channel, please, you know what to do. Join this family, hit the like button, subscribe, please, I beg you. Hit the notification bell and support this family as we get straight into today's video. Now, what's the first news? Because it's a very surprising one. And I don't know, it just came out from nowhere. It came out of the blues. And everybody started picking up this story. Right? And this is a very, very tough one. Now, let's read the tweets before we dissect it, before we talk about it, before we break it down. Now, according to Aaron Ramiro, this particular journalist was the one who broke down the Palestra deal, was the one who reviewed the Palestra deal. He was the one who made everybody know about the Palestra deal. And a few days later, Chelsea signed Palestra. Now he's here again with another one. Now, what does he have to say concerning this deal? Now, here we go. According to Aaron Ramirez, said Granit Xhaka has given the green light to Xabi Alonso. Chelsea are now accelerating negotiations with Sunderland to finalize an agreement. Now, the previous tweet he made in June 7th was about 3 weeks ago, thereabouts. He said Chelsea initiates contact with Granit Xhaka's camp as Alonso seeks proven leader. Wow. Let's read another tweet concerning this same Granit Xhaka issues. He said, Chelsea have submitted an opening 30 million bid for Granit Xhaka as they step up their pursuit of Sunderland midfielder. New manager Xabi Alonso has personally requested the signing with the Blues, now making their first formal move. The pair enjoyed a successful period together at Bayer Leverkusen from that same, journalist. Now let's move to the next tweet. This is really, really interesting. It's going to be fast and swift like this Palestra deal. Now, two more tweets. Now, this one is from that same journalist. He said, Xabi Alonso has requested for Granit Xhaka. Wow. One more. Major breaking. At the time of shooting this video, Fabrizio already, carried the news. Now, according to Pletigo, it said Granit Xhaka and Chelsea have already reached a full verbal agreement for a transfer. Personal terms have already been fully agreed. Chelsea are already in contact with Sunderland. Xabi Alonso is pushing hard to sign him. Also, Pletigo actually, retweeted, and a lot of news outlets right now are saying the same thing. I am shocked, and I am not shocked. Now, the reason I am shocked is Chelsea that we've known under this new ownership that love anything under 18, under 20, under 21 are going for a 33-year-old midfielder, a 33-year-old man. So it seems the days are changing. It seems the tides are changing. It seems the normal is changing at Chelsea. Now, for Granit Xhaka, fantastic player. But let's talk about, before we talk about Granit Xhaka, let's talk about the circumstance that made Chelsea interested in Granit Xhaka. Firstly, the Alonso effect. Alonso wants him at Chelsea. Alonso has previously worked at him at Bayer Leverkusen. Alonso trusts him. Alonso understands him. He has been with the team, the winning team, Xabi Alonso has actually worked with at Bayer Leverkusen. So this is a Xabi Alonso man. Now we are seeing the Xabi Alonso effects in signings. The first was Palestra signing a wing back instead of a fullback on how Chelsea usually sign players. Now to Granit Xhaka. Now the successful season or the successful spell for Granit Xhaka, for Xabi Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen was Granit Xhaka was a core foundation of that team. Granit Xhaka was that player that was important to the build-up on how Xabi Alonso plays. Now, on the other hand, Chelsea are not in the Champions League. Chelsea are not playing European football. So it will be difficult right now to get that player that is going to actually make it, or that player that you trust that would actually change Chelsea's situation as it stands. Also, for a short-term fix on how Chelsea wants to get back into where they belong, you need experience, you need leadership, you need that kind of player that can actually move Chelsea in the next 1 or 2 years into where Chelsea want to be, the Champions League place, and where Chelsea wants to play, or where Chelsea wants to be rather. So for Granit Xhaka now, this is a player that sets the foundation on which Arsenal won the title. When he was at Arsenal, the relationship did not go too well with under Arteta, but he was one of those players that set that winning tone on which Arsenal build on, both players, elevate the team, build that winning mentality, build that winning feeling. At the end of the day, Arsenal won the league. It took a while. Now look at the impact and the input of an experienced player. Look at an impact and an input of a player who is a winning, he has this winning feeling, this winning leadership inside of him. And that is what it took to Bayer Leverkusen. Now he brought that back to the Premier League. And he did it with Sunderland. Sunderland understands that for them to stay in the Premier League, they need young players, they need leadership, they need somebody that is hot-headed sometimes, to work with these players and to elevate the team from the level where they were coming from in the championship to the next level. It was not a permanent fix for them, but it was a temporary fix to remain in the Premier League. Also for Manchester United, let me just divert a little bit. Manchester United understands that where they were last season, they need to elevate. They went in and brought experience. So for Granit Xhaka, he has the experience. Chelsea needs that. He has the leadership. Chelsea needs that. He has the winning mentality. Chelsea needs that. And he's also an Alonso kind of player. So for Alonso to succeed with Chelsea in his very first season, because what Chelsea has actually done in the last couple of years is judging coaches in their very first season. And it happened with Maresca. It happened with Pochettino. Right? It happened with Graham Potter. It happened with coaches who have been here and did not even give them time, to do whatever they want to do because they had short period of time. But for Xabi Alonso, he wants to win at the start. So that's why you need a trusted ally and a player of Granit Xhaka status is needed. When they defeated Chelsea last season, who was giving Brian Bobby the passes? Who was the rugged master in that midfield? He was one of the best midfielders in the Premier League last season. Is it a long-time fix? No. Short-time fix for just a year or two to get Chelsea back into the level Chelsea belongs. That is why Chelsea is actually bringing him. So to me, I think this will be a very good signing. This will be an important signing for Chelsea. Now for the fee. 30 million euros might be a large fee. But for the caliber of player and for what Chelsea wants to do at this moment, with playing once in a week and all of that, Chelsea, I would say any midfielder right now in the market will cost 3 times that amount or twice that amount. So for a short-time fix and for a player of that caliber to actually make the starting or the start of Alonso reign at Chelsea succeed, I don't think it's bad for that amount of money. Yes, it might be too much, maybe 10 million or so on the amount of money Sunderland bought him. But how he performed, at Chelsea last season, how he performed at Sunderland rather, how he performed at Sunderland last season just simply means that his value has actually added yet again. So to me, I think this is a very good deal. And I think this will be that fix because right now, Alonso, Enzo Fernandez is leaving. What's his name? Caicedo might not really get how Alonso wants to play at the very start. So to me, I think this is just a very good one. But let me know what you think. Do you think this is what Chelsea needs at this point? Share your thoughts in the comment section. So you might be wondering why the agreement was this fast. Of course, he has worked with Xabi Alonso before. And secondly, he wants to still play at the highest level. He wants to still play with a bigger club and with a trusted coach, somebody he has worked with before. So that was why it was quick, to agree the fee in terms of personal terms and how much, he wants to earn at Chelsea. Now let's move to the next story. Now, breaking. Alonso wants Chelsea to sign a world-class superstar as his first signing. You heard that? Now, moving on. Xabi Alonso has reportedly told Chelsea board that signing a top player is his first priority when you officially start working on July 1st. The Spain is said to have already identified one of the best players in the world and want Chelsea to move quickly before rival clubs enter the race. Chelsea believe the signing would send a strong message ahead of the new season and show that the club is serious about competing at the biggest competing for the biggest trophies again. Internal talks were already on the way, with Alonso expected to push for the deal as soon as he returns to Cobham. The identity of the player has not yet been revealed, but sources believe Chelsea are preparing for one of the biggest transfers of the summer. So we are not done. There are players that are still going to come. There are signings that are still going to replace the ones who are leaving and the ones that are still going to get Chelsea better. So expect a lot. Now, this simply means that I think there's going to be a shift on the culture of mainly signing players for the future. Now, you also need to mix it. Sign players for now, sign players for the future. That is where experience comes in. That is where you learn from your mistakes. Actually show that yes, you've learned from how you were in the past on how you want to be in the future. So expect more signings to actually come through, especially to be very active on the market. And that's being said. Now let's move to the next story. There's a certain midfielder. Before then, let me know who you think Chelsea should sign, who is probably a big name you think Chelsea should sign. Share that with me in the comment section. Now let's move to another name. Now, this is a midfielder in Italy, and his name is Manu Koné. Now, if you watch the game between France and Norway, there's a certain midfielder with dread in midfield who played virtually the all game, who played the whole game, and he did exceptionally well. That is the midfielder I'm talking about. That is Manu Koné. Now, what did Ilmes Gerrard had to say? He said Manu Koné has rejected a move to Atletico Madrid for next season. Arsenal and Chelsea are continuing to work on a move to sign him from Roma. That's an interesting one. So Chelsea are interested in signing Manu Koné, and this is a very interesting because this is a midfielder. For you to break into the France national team, you need to have some level of quality. And he showed that with Roma last season under Gasparini. He was one of the best midfielders in the Italian league. And this is a player that has rose, fast in his career. Now, to me, I think the level of how he controls the midfield, the level of his presence in the midfield, his physicality, his brilliance, his anticipation to passes and everything, his anticipation to his environment is also a, how would I put it? Is also a player you can easily get the ball off, a press-resistant midfielder, right? So I think this will be a very, very good acquisition if Chelsea goes for him. But with the player as Granit Xhaka coming in, I don't think Chelsea might want to make this move at this point. It depends. Anything can still happen because Enzo Fernandez will still leave. So now Chelsea are already making replacements for Enzo Fernandez. So this would be one of it. Not for Cucurella. Cucurella would obviously or has obviously left Chelsea. Now Chelsea needs to make replacement. Chelsea needs to get replacement for Cucurella. Now, who is Chelsea going for? Now, let's read this straight. Chelsea has made formal offer to sign Andy Cambiaso from Juventus. The bid is worth 26 million with add-ons. Juventus wants 35 million and have rejected the offer. The gap is 9 million. The negotiation continues, but Chelsea opening bid tells you something important. Juventus rejected a 56 million bid from Manchester City for Cambiaso last summer. Chelsea are also trying to buy him for less than half of what Manchester City offered 12 months ago. That's either a very savvy opening position, or to sign that Chelsea are opening Juventus' financial situation forces a discount. Now let's move on. Now Jackson swap deal idea was mooted as a way to bridge the gap. Chelsea include the striker as make way to reduce the catch element. Juventus striker problem remains real with Vlahovic gone. The Araujo talk resuming parallel to the Cambiaso negotiation tells you Chelsea are keeping options open. They haven't landed their left back yet, and they know it. Alonso probably rates Cambiaso as the best option, technically excellent, Premier League ready, able to operate in multiple positions or multiple systems. But if Chelsea won't move to a figure Chelsea considered reasonable, Araujo is the backup that could become the first choice. Chelsea needs to resolve that position before preseason starts. Two more tweets concerning that. Now, according to Record Portugal in the Portuguese league, remember he plays for Sporting Lisbon. Now, this is what they had to say. Breaking, Chelsea have entered the race to sign Maxi Araujo from Sporting CP. The Uruguayan have an 80 million release clause. 80 million release clause. So Marco Palestra and Araujo on both wings. Alonso would have two elite backup options. One more tweet. Now, Manchester United and Chelsea remain interested in sporting Maxi Araujo and have continued to monitor the Uruguay international throughout the World Cup. The 26-year-old has impressed scouts with his performance even though Uruguay have been eliminated. Wow. So, let me actually break this down. Marcos, let me get familiar with the name. Araujo, Maxi Araujo. Uruguay might not have played well at this World Cup. Uruguay might have been eliminated in the very first round at this World Cup. But one player I always watch, one player that always makes me happy whenever I watch Uruguay is Maxi Araujo. He plays a left back. But you could see Cucurella inside of him. He's very rugged, he's very fast, he's skillful, he can play in different positions, and he knows how to move with the ball. That is the kind of player I expect Chelsea to be going for. They can be also from Juventus. Yes, he has played elite football, but I don't think he's as good as Araujo. I think Araujo brings something Chelsea are already used to. A left back that also can actually play as a midfielder when it comes to maybe defensively, tracking back, and also win duels. I think this is the kind of player that I think Chelsea should be going for. Yes, it's very expensive. It's 25-year-old. 25-year-old. He has the experience already. But I think this player will actually suit the Alonso style. This player would actually bring something unique to Alonso. Going forward, he has 2 goals. I think he had 2 goals in the World Cup. So this player he has goal threats. He's defensively very solid. He knows how to move with the ball, and it's that player that can actually suit in the Alonso style. Very rugged kind of left back, and you can't easily get the ball off him. So to me, I think this deal might just be one of the best deals when it comes to fixing the left side or replacing Cucurella in that defense. But let me know what you think concerning Araujo. Do you think Chelsea should sign him, or Cambiaso from Juventus would have been the best? There was also a report that Chelsea introduced sending Jackson to Juventus just to make way for Cambiaso coming in. I think that would be a very wrong deal to do. But I think Araujo should be that player, that should be coming into Chelsea. But let me know what you think concerning Granit Xhaka. Let me know what you think concerning Manu Koné. Let me know what you think concerning Araujo. Let me know what you think concerning all these stories I've actually bring about today, and share your thoughts in the comment. Would you be open to bringing in Granit Xhaka, Or do you think he's too old to play at Chelsea? Let me know what you think about all of this and share your thoughts in the comment section. If you're new to this channel, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Hit the notification bell so I come your way again next time. I remain your boy Mike Way. Stay cool. Cheers.